I remember being told as a kid that if you ever ran across a bear, you were supposed to lay down and play dead. Then, of course, other people would tell you if you run across a bear, you're supposed to fight back with all your might. Then there's also the rumor that when in doubt, climb up a tree and they can't get you. Are any of those facts even real? So how often do you hear about hikers and backpackers being attacked by animals when they're out on the trail? It's not really that often. For the most part, the wild critters want to leave us alone as much as we want to leave them alone. But rare as it is, it does happen from time to time. So there's some basic steps for safety that we should take just to make sure we're giving the animals their due respect and we're keeping our safe distance. So today, I'm actually out on a hike in bear country of all places, enjoying this beautiful walk, but I thought it would be a great opportunity to go over some of these safety features, have a bit of a chat while we walk. Of course, it's a hot day and I'm out of breath, so I apologize in advance for all the wheezing and gasping. But that's what happens when you take an old guy out on the trail. So some basic trail safety. You're going to want to make sure you give animals at least 25 yards of space. If you see an animal up ahead, you're going to want to stay back and give them the opportunity to move on before you enter their space. Now, bears and mountain lions are a totally different thing. You want to make sure you give them at least 100 yards whenever possible. Their noses are pretty intense. They're going to know you're there long before you see them. So give them the respect they need and give them the opportunity to move on. I'm pretty fortunate here in the Northwest. Snakes aren't really an issue. On the east side of the state, it definitely gets a lot warmer, and then snakes are quite common on the trail. But here in western Washington, the climate's cool and wet enough that it's not much of a problem. But it's always a good idea to keep an eye on where you're putting your feet, keep track of your path, keep track of your steps, and definitely use your ears. Many snakes are going to give you a little bit of a warning if you're getting too close. Last thing you want to do is sneak up on a sleeping rattlesnake that's catching a bit of a sun nap in the middle of a trail. So for the most part, you could potentially run into two different types of bears. You got the little black bear, and you've got the brown bear or the grizzly. The grizzlies are far larger and stronger than the black bear, and they pose their own set of challenges. Sadly, there isn't a whole lot of defense in the event that you're getting attacked by a brown bear. The recommendation is always to lay down on the ground, play dead, spread your legs out as wide as you can so that you can create as much of a base for yourself so that they can't roll you over. You're going to cover your head with your backpack or your hands and try and protect your head at all costs. With a little luck, the grizzly's going to get tired of you and he's going to move on to something that tastes a little bit better. Black bears, on the other hand, they typically only attack if they feel threatened or afraid, or if you end up between them and their cubs. A black bear, the recommendation is that you actually fight back. I don't know about you, but I'm certainly not a bear wrestler. I think we've all seen it on TV, but it's certainly not something I want to try myself. So I always try and operate under the rule, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to keep myself out of that situation in the first place. You know, most of us have also heard the advice that if you come across a bear, you're supposed to make yourself big and tall and threatening. It's actually great advice, but for a different reason. You're not going to intimidate a bear, so don't even try. "Rawr, I'm big and scary, rawr." What you are trying to do is announce to the bear, "Here I am, see me." Because remember, they don't want to be around us any more than we want to be around them. So if you make yourself big, use your jacket, use your backpack, whatever it takes, just extend your size. It's going to let the bear know you're there. It's going to give him an opportunity to decide that he wants to move on to another path. Well then, how about the advice where you're supposed to climb up a tree? Right? Bear's coming barreling down at you. You're going to find the biggest, tallest tree and you're going to climb up it. That'll keep you safe, right? Yeah, sadly, no. Bears are fantastic climbers. At least I should say they're fantastic at going up. They struggle at going down, but that's not really what we're concerned with. So whatever you do, don't climb a tree. You're basically just saying, "Here I am, bear, come and eat me." Not really the best choice. Part of keeping yourself safe and avoiding the unwanted run-ins with wildlife and bears in general is just a little bit more of a situational awareness. For example, anytime you enter a nice open meadow, like this one that I just walked into myself, before you go too far and just run right into the meadow, take a couple of seconds, pause, look around a little bit, get comfortable with your surroundings, and make sure you don't see any brown ears poking up behind any bushes. So we've talked a lot about what doesn't work and just some basic rules and principles. But what about what does work? What should you actually do in the unfortunate encounter where you don't have the option to get away? I mentioned earlier that I'm actually hiking in bear territory today. Anytime I find myself in a location that's known for bears, and it's the time of year where bears are quite prevalent, I always make sure I have a can of bear spray with me. This is basically a highly condensed form of pepper spray. It's not a 100% guarantee, but it is quite the deterrent. The one caveat you need to remember about bear spray, it only has a range of about 30 feet, and it only lasts for about 4 seconds. So make sure you know what you're doing before you pull that pin and start spraying, because you only get one opportunity. In the event that you do come across a bear in the woods, before you pull out your pepper spray in a panic and start running like a wild man, you're going to want to just kind of stop, announce yourself to the bear, not in a threatening way, but just so that they can hear you. Then you're going to want to slowly back away from the bear, give them the respect and the space that they need. One thing to remember, you never want to turn your back on a wild animal, and you never want to make eye contact. I think it's also important to note that bear spray isn't exclusively for bears. It's just a highly concentrated form of pepper spray. It can be used on 2-legged aggressors or 4. So whatever the creature is, whatever the danger is, make sure you use it correctly, read all of the directions beforehand, and familiarize yourself with it before you need it. Here's something a little unnerving to think about. The only natural predator of a bear, it's actually a mountain lion, or a bobcat or a lynx. Most of the wild cats are amazingly aggressive, incredibly strong, faster than just about anything else out there. And as crazy as it sounds, they attack from above. They'll actually spend their time hiding in trees until whatever their prey is gets close, and then they pounce from down on top. It's not really something I like to think about, but might be a good topic for another video. In the event that you do have a chance encounter with a bear or a mountain lion out there on the trail, don't panic. Some real basic steps could save your life and make it an amazing experience for you. Wildlife is phenomenal. It's great when we get that opportunity to see it firsthand, as long as we're safe about it. Until next time, folks, let's be safe out there and keep walking.